Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Well, we have a great show for you today. Thank you, as always, to Mr. Mendoza for that fabulous introduction. We've got Olivia Ramos. She's the founder of Deepblocks. Olivia is our artificial intelligence expert. We've been doing content about artificial intelligence for a number of years here on Freed on Business, so we're used to it. We're going to talk about the impact of AI on real estate, how it intertwines with my new real estate financing ideas, and we may even get into the impact of ChatGPT on everything. So stick with us. We've got a great show. I want to thank, as always, our friends at Warren Henry Automotive, sponsors for well over, 12, 15 years. I'm losing track at this point. Thank you to Larry, Eric, Warren, Jack, Maytal, the rest of the team over there, Ismet. We love them. They're tremendous fans of the show. We think they're terrific sponsors, and we're so proud to be part of the Warren Henry family. So, Mr. Mendoza, let's get together, get started with Olivia, AI, and commercial real estate. Hey, it's great to see you as always, Olivia. I really love it when you come on the show. You're one of our favorite guests. People always ask for more Olivia Ramos content, so thanks for giving it to me today. What are we talking about today?
Well, thank you for having me, Jim. It's been a while since we've talked, and I thought one of the most prominent subjects since the last time we spoke is ChatGPT, and we haven't had an official conversation about it.
ChatGPT, okay, that's a good one.
Okay, so any initial thoughts before I go into specific?
Yeah, I tried it once already. I tried it on Constant Contact, where they now have the ability for you to write your Constant Contact e-blast using their chatbot. And it was interesting because it chose to make my mortgage flyer a residential mortgage flyer. So I'm wondering if it looked at all the other stuff I'd already done, and I couldn't figure out how it did it, but it was bland and not me, which is understandable because it hasn't learned about me yet, has it? I hope.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of prompts where you can say, for example, speak as if I am a realtor, speak as if I am a mortgage broker, speak as if, and so it has a lot of different personas it could take. So maybe
let's start with, how do I find ChatGPT and how do I get on it? Because I think that when it first came out a few months ago, I Googled it and then basically left it alone. And like I said, the AI thing that I was using is embedded in Constant Contact, and it wasn't as thorough as what you were discussing.
Yeah, and I want to dig a little bit deeper on how it works in real estate. And if we Google ChatGPT, it pops up. It's under OpenAI, and you can create an account. You can have a paid account, which has a lot of really interesting features that I'll talk about. But I wanted to discuss its growth over the last couple of months. It started with the ability to have conversations, with the ability to summarize articles, to bring up historical events and summarize them since 2021, the ability to write code for certain problems that if you wanted to solve them with code. And now it's taking data sets with this new plugin called Code Interpreter. Basically, you can give it a data set, and it'll analyze the data set for you. And so, for example, let's say you have a data set of properties or listings, and you could, upload it to ChatGPT, and you can ask it, what do you think is the best deal of this list? Or what do you think is the trend of this list?
How about travel? I find it interesting that people want to use this for travel.
Sure. I mean, I think one of the plugins of ChatGPT, which I don't have access to yet, is it's connected to the internet. So it can look up all the travel deals immediately and tell you what's the best deal at that very moment. But I want to kind of reel you back into real estate, because now that you can bring up data sets into ChatGPT, such as historical rents, historical sales, historical construction activity. You can analyze markets as if you had an analyst in-house, right? It's
Yeah, that's
almost
something
like
I'd really
having
like to talk about, because
Okay.
when I was running for city commissioner, you and your team analyzed the district, that a certain portion of it, that it could have another 500, another 50,000 units developed without changing any of the land use, and that became a very powerful statement to make. I know that on Deepblocks in the past, you've been able to take open source market information and open source land use information and create buildings and pro formas for those buildings. I got to believe that this tool just helps you be even more effective. Sorry for jumping the gun on that.
No, I mean, so I think one of my points and the first real question I have for you is, now that this tool analyzes things for you, the importance of data, it's at a different level, right?
Yes.
And how important it is for real estate developers to organize and digitize their data at this point, because contractors and real estate developers have tons of historical data that are in PDFs and files, maybe digitized. There you go, just like that. And you could be having like a wealth of information and insights from your data alone. So what do you think, given that now you have a really advanced analyst capability with ChatGPT, all you have to do is upload your kind of digitize and structure data set, which is it's a challenge we can discuss. But do you think, is that something that's being talked about, or is that too new to hit the market yet, or what are you thinking?
Okay, so let's talk about big data and real estate, which is really what your question is, right?
Not big data. I'm talking about internal data. I'm talking about contractors, developers that have been around for decades, that have tons of data that could be signaling really great opportunities, and they're not being used right now.
Well, I agree with that completely. I reviewed my call list, my little narrative of calls from last month, and came up with a lead that I dropped that I called on this morning that was still active. So I believe that just being able to survey somebody's historic leads and ideas will certainly make it very useful. I got to believe that Salesforce and other CRMs are already incorporating this as follow-up type of prompts. I really wish that I had I don't want to use any of these nasty terms like bandwidth, but I'll use it. I wish I had the bandwidth to be able to get all of this and then put it all together again. And big data and its use and implementation is very much behind my real estate tokenization and real estate blockchain platform that I'm initiating as well. So I find it an extraordinary come together place for everybody. And I just don't want to give AI enough information so that it can eliminate me when it goes looking for me when it takes over the world.
Okay, so I think that's a good topic, because right now there are implementations of ChatGPT that are picking stock market stocks, and they're performing.
Yes, I saw that it's beating the market.
Yes, it's called ChatGPT Portfolio. It beats the market sometimes. It doesn't sometimes. It's doing relatively well for an AI, I would say, for the first AI of its kind, an LLM model.
Well,
but
look, the first AI that I ever came in contact with was the paperclip in Microsoft. You know, where it would come in, hi, then would go away again. Hi, let me help you solve this problem.
All right, I'm gonna reel you in a little bit more. So, how much trust do you think we'll have? There's two questions here. Like, one is, how much trust do you think we'll have in allowing AI to pick our real estate investments? That's one. And two, the data required for us to do that sounds like you, as kind of representing an experienced developer, broker, expert in the field, real estate business person, hesitant to put their data in a platform, even though this data, it's only accessible by you.
I have no problem putting my data in a place where it can be sorted and reviewed as long as I know that it's secure. Like I'm not uploading it on TikTok.
Okay.
Okay.
And what is your sense for trusting AI to make your real estate picks?
Well, that's garbage in, garbage out. So it depends on what I'm feeding it and what it's learned.
Okay.
So I need it to sit next to me and test drive for a while and learn. Because as much as it's somebody else's brain and as much as it's taking all these facts and analyzing the facts, I still don't know how well it interprets the facts. Notice I said analyze versus interpret. There's a difference.
Well, let me ask you something.
Real estate's sort of a
sets?
artsy thing.
Okay, that's an interesting point.
It's for sure. Real estate's an art, not even a science.
I disagree 100%. So I want to dig into that.
You're in the business of making sure
dig into that a little
bit.
No. So tell me, when you make a decision on a good real estate investment, on a good market, on a growing market, what do you look at?
What appears to be.
What appears to be. What do you look at?
You're always making a leap of faith. Whenever somebody gives me a pro forma, I say I can make one guarantee about the real estate deal. They go, what? I go, this ain't happening.
Okay, so what do you look at? What data points, and I'm not going to call them data points because you're going to...
How about information?
What information do you take in to generate that artistic expression of picking a real estate property? Something has to inform it, even if it's intuitive or experience.
Look, 3 pieces of dirt next to each other in the same submarket are going to have 3 different results based on a lot of different things, from land use to timing to cost to what was the design to what's the emotional circumstance of the person behind the deal. Did I buy this for my son just so he could learn the business? Now I'm selling it at a discount because he screwed it all up. So that deal twice today. Different. Twice. Another is I bought this deal. I have it under contract. Now I can't find the money, but it's a great piece of real estate. Who wants to come in with me? I'll offer them 12. They want 15. So how is it analyzing the deal? Is it saying this is a great real estate deal if you can get a 15?
Let me bring it back a bit. Let me say,
I don't understand the inputs and the outputs.
I understand. Okay. Let's say I'm a client and I say, I am looking to spend, let's say, $1 billion, okay, on a few pieces of land for development. How do you pick the submarket?
So you're talking about the big fancy waterfront stuff.
No, it doesn't have to be one. It could be, a portfolio, a small portfolio in a hot submarket. What do you look at to determine the hot submarket?
A whole lot of different things. A lot of people would say that office space on Brickell is a hot submarket. I would say it's hot block by block, building by building, not necessarily all in one, because some of the obsolete buildings have to go down. I would say other submarkets that appear to be hot may have a pipeline in them that's going to crush them. So here, let's talk about this. Let's talk about a submarket where we can put a handle on it and talk about it.
Okay.
I read recently in the Miami Herald about guy Michael Chavo, whatever, who's building 400,000 square feet of Class A office building on Miami Beach in 3 or 4 different buildings because the people that are rich on Miami Beach don't want to drive over to Miami and do their business. Guess what? That guy nailed it. It. Now, when I did feasibility studies back in the day, I'd say, do we need a hotel? I don't know. Let's see the resort tourism growth. Let's see the growth in business travel. Let's see the growth in business, resort, and convention travel. Okay, let's take a look at all those. And if there's reason for them to continue growing, then we should do it. Same thing with office. If there's a lot of people moving here that want a nice office, then we should build it for them. But it doesn't really exist. Where's the nice office building on Miami Beach? That's a rhetorical question. Because there isn't one.
So, okay, but isn't all of that, everything that you've mentioned, aren't those data points, aren't those historical data points being looked at year over year, determining the trend line, determining the growth? Isn't that all data?
there also has to be a shift in market perceptions and the desire for the people to do things that have happened over time. The commute time is different now than 20 years ago to get from Miami Beach to your office in downtown. Your ability to work out of your house. I can't hear you.
It's also data. That's also data. You could see a commute time over time change and have that be something.
I think it's also tastes. I think that you have to have, I think that it used to be, and it still is, that the office should be over by where Mr. or Ms. Big is and where they live. So that's why there aren't a lot of fancy office buildings in Kendall, let's say, although there soon may be, because people want to live out there and the neighborhoods are becoming more and more 15-minute oriented. I'm going really off field here.
No. I think you're staying on subject. My point is, and it's, I guess, is a word of caution to the thought, the school of thought that real estate is an art form. I'm not saying it is not. It's like saying architecture is an art form. Certainly some of it is, but I would say 90% of it is mathematics.
Yeah, it is. But the 10% is what makes the difference. Everybody can do the math.
Sure. I'm not saying that is not true, but I'm saying right now the 90% is being done manually. It's being done through fragmented processes. If all of these come together into one, what's going to happen?
That's my business model. That's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, every one of these buildings is going to be built with a Johnson Controls box or some other box that's going to collect all the data point information. It's going to process it. It's going to send it up to a central point where that is going to be using.
I'm going to stop you for a second because we're going to talk about what you're doing in another segment.
Okay.
And I want to do that.
That's what this is. This I know, but, is what you're doing. And the ability for machine, here's what I would say. I would say that it's time for machine learning to relieve some of the drudgery in the real estate marketplace. Now, when I first started, you had papers that were this big, that big, that really large, 18 columns. And we'd write stuff down and we'd fold it 40 times. So it'd be in the report in an 8.5 by 11. We use slide rules. Swear to God, we use slide rules for a couple of months. Slide rules. Then the compact computer. You didn't know what a slide rule was, huh? Miss Technology. Got to have one of those up on your bulletin board there just to show people how far we've come. So the point is that I remember the first calculators. Okay? All of that. Texas Instruments, the Bomar. We used to call people the Bomar brain because they were smart, and that was the name of the calculator. So I believe that processing data and information has its place, but I think that what's going to happen is that all of the decisions, it'll go from actually being a process implementer. The analyst person will become a process manager, and they will manage the process of data collection, the data that's involved in the decision. They'll help manipulate the script that's going to evaluate the data points for the AI. But okay, I think it's all coming. Hold on. I think it's beyond coming. It's here.
Let me just one last point. One last point I want to get to. Previously, you said a couple of minutes back that you would put in your data as long as it was protected, as long as it wasn't exposed. Now, what if you can imagine for a minute, an AI that's telling the public where to invest, right? The retail buyer.
It already is.
Sure. Perfect.
People like Alliance Bernstein are using it today. Everybody is. They get your risk tolerance. In fact, that's causing a winnowing out in the investments field.
All right. Let me just say this. Now, the properties for the AI to be as effective and efficient as possible, it needs as much data as possible. Like you said, garbage in, garbage out. So what if everybody that puts in their projects, right? Their operating expenses, their income, their real income, their vacancies, right? All of that data, not to mention data that could be collected by IoT devices. But let's just say the more transparent you are with your device.
Like my Nest and my card swipe at the office.
Exactly. Or the structural stability of the building, or the amount of water that it wastes, or the amount of electricity that it wastes.
Oh, my way ahead of you.
So my point is, if in the future the AI is picking properties for people to invest in and not necessarily invest, buying the whole property, we could talk about, the art of that later. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to go there now. The point is, will developers hand over that information if transparency is the way for people to invest in your projects, for people to invest in your next projects, for people to buy your projects, because people become more AI will become more trustworthy, and the projects that have more transparency will be the ones highlighted as investment opportunities, as best investments opportunities. So what do you think is going to happen?
I think that there's three classes of consumers on this. First, the developer for himself is going to hold it forever.
The data?
No, the transaction and the evaluation of the transaction. I think an institution will be an earlier adopter than perhaps a retail investor, which is what you're really talking about. But I do think that we will come to the point where there will be ubiquitous information sharing on the basis of the developer is going to get a lower cap rate and a better value for their transaction. I think that that's the wave of the future. I think that AI is replacing, white collar people. The problem is the people that they're going to the people they will replace first will be the people that are in the jobs that become the breeding ground and the training ground and the winnowing out place in the real estate industry, which is the real estate analyst. That's where everybody gets started.
Okay,
as a real estate analyst.
Let me throw something else at you.
So the analyst, and let me just say one other thing. I think it's important to say this. So last year, my nephew, Simon, was summer interning with me. This year, he's working with Brown & Brown. And he said to me, Uncle Jim, I want to go into big data and real estate. And I said, that was 2 years ago. Today, I would say it's the hottest thing to do. And the kid's a genius, which he is, not just because he's my nephew. Mm-hmm. And I really believe that the management of the data to create quality information so that quality decisions can be made will take real estate to the next level. Because I remember when real estate wasn't put into CMBS, when there was no bundling up of loans, no securitization of loans. And then it started to happen. And then it got market acceptance. The stuff is like a hockey stick.
Let me ask you one last thing. Okay, so you agree that developers and institutions, if they want a broader adoption of their products in the new environment of trading real estate that will happen, they're going to have to put this information out there.
It's the call I was just on.
And let's just say that you're in your mind, the analyst will suffer because the analyst, the advisor might suffer because the AI will do a lot of this crunching.
The initial analyst, for instance.
Okay.
You're going to need, so what's going to happen, because I'm watching it in other sectors, is that the person that has the PhD in data analytics will run a small team. Now it's maybe 20 people. Soon it'll be 3 plus 1, 2 plus 1, 1 plus 1. That's what's going to happen. And I think you're going to have the PhD
what happens?
Data analytics will be just like the CFO, CIO, data analytics. To me, CIO will become the wires and the clips more than it'll become the rest of it.
Okay. Now, what happens to the broker when the AI is a better negotiator between two parties than the intermediary agent?
I'll have to watch that occur before I'll believe it. But I think
why not?
Why? Because a lot of the negotiations are emotional, and a lot of it doesn't work until somebody does brinksmanship, which I usually use an expletive at that point. And they hang up the phone. These things don't happen until there's a complete almost breakup. And the top bidder is always lying. There's a lot of liar's poker in real estate.
What if an AI understood everyone's it has all the data, right? Let's say it has all the data. It understands what you want. It understands what you could get out of the deal. And there's two parties involved. And it's able to come to an even agreement by knowing all of this, by maybe generating a bunch of different scenarios and figuring out which one is the most successful. And after a while, after many transactions, it will know which one will be the most successful and beneficial to both parties. What's going to happen to the broker?
I already said it. There's going to be PhD of data analytics, and then there's going to be one or two people instead of an entire room. That's going to happen with the real estate services business as well. Like, for instance, let me give you an example. So I ran one of the big real estate companies here in town, one of the multinational real estate companies, and everybody needed to get a new job. But I couldn't get rid of them all. I had to keep one person in each product silo so that the silo could function. And I think that you're going to see something here as well. I think you're going to see fewer people. You won't need 5 people on the deal team. When you go to the NAIOP Deal of the Year Awards, it used to be one person accepting. Now it's like 5 people. You're going to go back to being 2 people. I don't think you'll get rid of everybody, but I think the body count's going to go down. And we're at the point now where it's in a recession where we're probably already 30% overemployed in real estate. This is the part people won't like. And I believe that once AI gets in and gets trained and gets indoctrinated, and each firm will have its own AI personality. Oh, did I just say that? I believe that you'll see different decisions driven by their AIs. They're just today it's a decision matrix. This is just an automated decision matrix. So I believe that fewer people will be needed to get the information presented in a way so that one person can evaluate it. And I still think you're going to see one person making the decision. I don't think you're going to get rid of the global head of real estate at TPG, for instance.
Sure.
But I think that the real estate staff at TPG is going to look different in 5 years than it looks today. That I guarantee.
Well, you're talking mostly commercial real estate. What about residential? Like, what about just buying a home? Like, those are two just regular people who wants to sell, the other one wants to buy. And what's going to happen to that? That seems like...
I think that's already been disrupted to a certain degree, and that some people have survived. I think that a lot of that on residential, especially super high-end residential, that it'll be difficult for this to replace people in one generation.
Okay.
Notice what I said, one generation.
Yeah. No, I get that.
I firmly, but look, I just saw a picture of a robot that's a security guard at a school that drives around with a camera and says, hi, I'm watching everything. I mean, there are going to be places for AI. That used to be a person that walked around. Now it's a computer. So
what would be your advice or your suggestion for the middlemen in this industry, the analysts, the brokers, the facilitators of transactions?
Watch out.
Watch
out, because something is coming for your really mundane ability to do things. Just like it would be, my advice would be for the person that runs the law library in a law firm. There's certain efficiencies that are coming from the machines. The job that today can't be done, but maybe it can be down the road, is auto mechanic. I think you've got to find certain things that the economy is changing dramatically. You're laughing, but the economy.
I just don't know why you pick auto mechanics.
Well, because
that can definitely be done by robots.
Got the plug in, and
fair.
But,
okay, we won't talk about that.
But look, thinking about it, of course you're going to see plug-in diagnostics, robotic everything, and it'll soon become the need for the person. So the little kid that's on their computer today doing this, that can't get up from watching the movies, you've seen every kid in town. They're screaming, and then their mom just finally gives in and throws them the iPad, and they start watching Little Mermaid for the 5,000th time, that person understands interfacing with technology constantly and being in a technology bubble. And I believe that that's coming. I believe
my advice is to become autonomous. To become autonomous. What? Autonomous.
I already am.
Not you. I'm talking about the masses that are in this industry and the masses that are the middlemen. The more you can acquire these tools and become a power person with these tools, the more valuable you'll be to whatever firm you're working or to the clients. Whether maybe autonomy doesn't mean not being part of a large group, which will get rid of a lot of people, and I think that's expected.
You're going to see the desk count in a lot of firms go down, but I don't think you'll see the number of licensed real estate people go down. First of all, to get one of those licenses, you got to figure you could take on the world. Number two, sometimes people only do it just for their own, to do their own friends. But I think that one of these multinational residential real estate firms or national came into Miami and said, we're going to be the technology firm. We're going to do all that. They went bust. So I think leadership, I think the personality and type of person all plays into it. And we're going to cut it off there so people want more. I want to thank Olivia Ramos for coming and expanding my universe like she always does. She's the founder of Deepblocks. We didn't even plug you. You were my artificial intelligence expert before anybody even knew what it meant, weren't you? Yes, you were.
Yes.
And she runs Deepblocks, which uses AI to help people make good real estate decisions. My clients and I rely on Deepblocks. We rely on Olivia and her team. And I want to thank Olivia for being here on our show and giving me the chance to plug Warren Henry while we were doing it. Mr. Mendoza, it's your turn. Olivia, we'll have you back again soon. You're the best. Rock it.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Mendoza. Oh, you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Out of here. Hey, everybody, I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry. They've been a sponsor of the show for, well over a decade, 10, 15 years. We love our friends at Warren Henry. They treat us like gold. I want to thank them for taking care of my mom and I and my wife. And remember, whenever you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can at Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar and Lincoln up on 151st and Biscayne. In Gainesville, they've got a tremendously gorgeous Audi store down in the Keys. They've got a store that sells all the great nameplates. And what do these cars all have in common? Well, besides being great cars, they come with the Warren Henry Advantage. The Warren Henry Advantage is a long list of services that I talk about all the time. Everything from a free loaner car to taking care of your rims if you scrape them up, to replacing your keys if you lose them. Those are expensive, fancy keys. You don't want to lose them. And if you do, they're really expensive to replace. Warren Henry will help you do that. They'll, of course, guarantee that you're getting the best price on the car that you're buying or leasing. They'll make sure you get the best value for your trade-in. They'll give you 3 days to make sure you like your car. You can trade it back. Nobody ever does that because they just love those cars. So join me, my beautiful wife, Vivian, my mom, lots and lots of my friends, more and more every day, clients, customers, everybody. They all go to Warren Henry, and you should too. Why? Because always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
Can AI supercharge your real estate analysts? With Deepblocks, you can now canvas entire cities in minutes. Search by total buildable, potential units, and uses allowed. Now live in 100 cities. Book a private demo and supercharge your real estate analysts. Deepblocks.com/demo.
Hey, everybody, please reach out to me at Sandstone Realty Advisors. I'm Jim Freed. I'm the founder. We use all kinds of real estate cutting-edge technologies and structures to help our clients capitalize their real estate transactions. Industrial, office, retail, multifamily, condo. We're working on all of them and getting them closed. Reverse mortgages and jumbos and super jumbos, Fannie and Freddie conforming loans for our friends and high net worth investors and their clients, friends, and customers. We get those done too. Reach out to me, DM me. My personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by solving their problems and bringing them peace of mind. Remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
There's always great insights on artificial intelligence and commercial real estate from Olivia. We always like to bring you cutting edge ideas here on Freed on Business. In our past library, you can hear me talking about all kinds of impacts on AI and real estate, both directly and indirectly. And of course, AI is very much involved in my new portal to help people get real estate syndication financing. Make sure to join us on future Freed on Business shows. We've got great real estate technology, real estate information, personal stuff that'll help you live a better life every single day. And remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you. This is Jim Freed. We'll be on dropping a brand new show next Wednesday at noon. Always drop our new episodes Wednesday at noon. I'd like to thank Warren Henry Automotive, Deepblocks, and the University of Florida Center for Real Estate Studies for sponsoring the show. And remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Mr. Mendoza, the rest of the show is yours.